What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx. Today I'm going to be reacting to Game Theory warning Pokemon may be harmful by the game theorists. Now, that is not the original title. The original title is that Pokemon may cause death, but I'm pretty sure YouTube won't allow that in an actual title. So I'm gonna have to change it. But anyway, hopefully this is gonna be interesting. Do people even play Pokemon anymore? Like, I know, of course, people still collect the cards, because there'll always be collectors. But as far as people playing, like, at, like, a table, do people even do that anymore? Because, you know, it's all about Magic the Gathering nowadays or whatnot. I don't know. I don't friggin' know. Anyway, hopefully this can be quite interesting. The original link's in the description. Without any further ado, let's begin. I don't wanna say that. Also, yes, I'm wearing the sweater again. It's freaking freezing down here. Alright, thumbnail. Oh, deadly. Oh.
Are you a Poke fan in search of a healthier, more active lifestyle, but tired of all the run-of-the-mill diets and gimmicky weight loss programs? So are we. So we combine the world of Pokemon with the world of fitness. Pokemon Go.
Do people play that anymore? Like, I remember when it first came out, and it was crazy. Like, there were just mass amounts of people just, like, huddled in areas around, like, you know, around the city. It was crazy. That has been a thing for, like, a year now or something? I don't know.
Cutting-edge application that gets you up and moving, while giving you the ability to capture your very own Pokemons in augmented reality. Don't just get up and go. Get up and Pokemon Go.
To the polls!
Pokemon go to the polls.
If you're a medical professional, please consult your physician for actual medical advice concerning diet and weight loss. Side effects of Pokemon Go include getting hit by cars, falling into ditches, trouble with local authorities, bodily harm, and lack of situational awareness in general. Pokemon Go may or may not actually kill you. Pokemon Go is deadly. I repeat, Pokemon Go is deadly. Please help me get out of here. My family's been kidnapped and I'm being held here against my will.
What? Ba 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 ba.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where if you are one of the thousands of people who still want a Game Theory hoodie, even though they sold out in the first 24 hours, well then stay tuned to the end of today's episode, because you can still get one, but you're gonna have to act this week and this week only. In the meantime, though, today it's my goal to throw Pokepuns at you, so don't get too comfy, cringe police. I'm pulling out all the Pokestops. Okay, so I've legitimately probably had my fill of Pokepuns for now. Now, it's been over a year since I last talked about Pokemon Go, and for an app that probably most of you assume is long dead, I think you'd be surprised by some of these stats I came up with. For one, it's raked in $1.2 billion.
What? What? Wasn't it free? I did not expect that they would make that much money off of a free game. That's like, what, Candy Crush levels of money off of a free game.
Since its launch, that's almost $2 million a day and 1.4 times more than Sun and Moon sales combined. And here we're all left wondering why everyone doesn't want to do full-on game releases anymore. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, it's been downloaded 752 million times, of which 65 million still play at least once a month, and 5 million still play every day, which is
That's still a lot of people. I did not know that.
resulted in an astonishing 88 billion captured Pokemon, most of whom were then promptly ground up to be fed to the strongest of their species in a desperate attempt to evolve the darn thing. Long story short, while it may not be as cool as finding Dewey or discovering who touched your spaghetti, Pokemon Go is still alive and well. The same, however, can't be said about its players. You see, for the many titles Pokemon Go has earned itself over the last year and a half,
Oh yeah, that's right. This video is supposed to prove that Pokemon, you know, is harmful or causes death. So, how are you supposed to prove that? I mean, maybe if it's Pokemon Go and people are looking at their phone walking around or whatever, and then they get hit by a bus or something, maybe, but I don't see how. Okay, what? We're just gonna go with it.
The ones you won't see it talking about is deadliest video game of all time. That may sound extreme, but it's no joke. Whereas other video games kill a player here or there from things like blood clots forming after extended play sessions with no movement, Pokemon Go actively puts its players right out into
That's real? Is this real?
the fire by making them do the unthinkable. Go outside. It's a game that gets you walking walking around in public staring at your phone, which, as you can imagine, puts players into some dangerous scenarios. Muggings at night, trespassing during the day, falling into ditches, driving distracted, and of course, walking into traffic without looking. In fact,
So what I said was actually true. That has happened. I guess, yeah, I can believe that this is a very dangerous video game because normally video games make you stay inside. Not this one.
In fact, there have been so many of these types of stories that there are whole websites dedicated to tracking the number of accidents the game has caused. But to be fair, every dark Altaria has a silver lining, my friends. Pokemon Go is a game that gets its users to walk around outside, and that extra exercise comes with a bunch of health benefits, which means regular players experience longer and healthier lives. So the question that I want to solve today:
do the benefits of the people exercising from the game outweigh the amount of people that have passed away from the game? Is that?
Has Pokemon Go, the unofficial deadliest game in all of history, actually killed more people or saved more people?
Okay, it is.
Now, as I mentioned a second ago, there are actual websites whose sole function is to monitor deaths and injuries related to Pokemon Go, all with sources provided no less, which, man, if only all the research I did for this show was that easy. Also, let me just say it right off the Noibat, I'm using the US data here because it'll be simpler for calculations that we have coming up. So, right away, we know that Pokemon Go has been associated with no less than 8 deaths here in the US. But wait, on the same site, we find that in St. Louis, Pokemon Go players were responsible for saving 2 people caught in a warehouse fire. So already we see the eternal struggle of life and death that is Pokemon Go. That leaves our net death counter at 6. From here, though, it starts to get a bit tricky. Despite the game's repeated warnings and its lack of functionality when traveling above certain speeds, far and away, the number 1 cause of injury from Pokemon Go is distracted driving.
I can't believe people play the game while driving. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Why would you're not supposed to text and drive. Why would you think playing a video game and driving is any better? Like, no. If anything, you're more distracted because you're freaking playing a video game. Oh my goodness.
Look, Ma, I'm gonna catch me a Lapras. Now, obviously, not all accident reports are going to cite the game as the cause of the accident, or even know that the app was the thing that caused the distractions in the first place. So we're going to have to do some smaller scale research to figure out the game's impact on traffic accidents, and then scale that data up to get an estimate of the bigger picture here. Luckily, we're not starting the process blind. A study done by researchers at Purdue University titled Death by Pokemon Go, the economic and human cost of using apps while driving, looked at the increase in traffic accidents.
That's an intense title. It's a very intense title.
Incidents in the 148 days after the app first launched for one county in Indiana. And despite the paper calling them Pokemons the entire time, and I do mean the entire time, the research they did here actually looks pretty darn good. They compared accidents around Pokestops to accidents around gyms, under the observation that people can drive by and swipe a Pokestop to refill what they call the player's ammunition. They're just Pokeballs, guys. It's not like they're being loaded into machine guns or anything, though gotta say that would be pretty awesome. Whereas gyms, you can't really engage with while driving. You gotta stand on the street and, you know, pretend like there's actual gameplay involved. They also do things like check to see how traffic accidents significantly decrease the further away from the Pokestop you get during this period. Now, obviously, there are a ton of variables to account for here. One of the biggest is the fact that Pokestops are in busy locations to begin with, which means that they're just gonna be prone to heightened levels of accidents from the get-go. And it doesn't...
It makes sense. It makes sense. So after you're done this, how are you supposed to see how many lives Pokemon has saved? Because as you said earlier on, it makes people go outside and exercise, which in the long run will, you know, extend their life. So how are you supposed to find out how many lives it saved when the people, they're not old enough to find out if it actually saved them or gave them a couple more years of life or something like that? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe when the people are 70 years old and you start seeing the Pokemon Go players live longer, then you could say, oh, this is how many lives it saved. But if you're gonna do that, this video is really early because you still got like, I don't know, 50 more years before this video can come out.
really help that this paper is written by people who so clearly want to prove that the app is deadly. I mean, look at the title of this quote-unquote academic paper. It's like they're titling an episode of Game Theory or something. But it's the cleanest data that I could find online, so I'm going to use this as our worst-case scenario for deaths from Pokemon Go. Their study found that in a county that usually gets about 6,000 traffic accidents per year, there were an additional 134 accidents resulting from Pokemon Go. Scaling that up to the entire US, which has about 6,300,000 accidents per year, we get an additional 140,000 accidents in 2016 caused by the game. A number that we then have to slice in two since it launched midway through the year. So that's 70,000 extra crashes due to Pokemon Go in the US in 2016. Now for 2017, we have to remember that this study only tracked the first 5 months of the game. By the end of 2016, people had stopped playing it by the millions, going from 28 million daily users in July to just 5 million daily users in December, where it's remained pretty consistent to this day. So it's safe to assume that accidents caused by Go went down by a similar percentage. Thus, let's say that of those 140,000 additional accidents in a year, only about 20% of them existed in 2017, or another 28,000. In total, that's around 100,000 additional accidents caused by Pokemon Go during the year and a half that it's been out. Fatality by car accident has a rate of 0.176%. That means 100,000 accidents times a fatality rate of 0.00176 equals a rough estimate of 176 driving deaths related to distracted Pokemon Goers. Add in the 6 from earlier and we have 182 US deaths in total. All of this from a mobile app where you catch cute creatures and give them candy.
Alright, so now we know how many fatalities there are from Pokemon Go, an estimate. And as I said a little bit earlier, how are you supposed to figure out how many people it saved? Because the app hasn't been out long enough to find out if the people who have played it got a little bit extra time on the Earth from physical activity. I don't know how you could possibly figure this out. It's gonna be interesting.
Candy made from the flesh of their peers, but still, the numbers don't lie. You don't need to be a gumshoes to figure out that that number is too damn high. So, can Pokemon Go make up for the 182 fatalities that it's helped cause? It actually might. According to the US Department of Health and the National Institute of Diabetes and Kidney Disease, inactivity kills 5.3 million people worldwide every year from diabetes, heart disease, depression, and certain cancers. But unlike mostly every other video game other than Just Dance and, I don't know, the 2 weeks 1-2 Switch was having us bang our chests like horny gorillas, Pokemon Go encourages players to get up and move. According to Microsoft research, in the 1 month after launch, between July and August of 2016, US players of Pokemon Go walked an additional 144 billion steps on
Wow, that's a lot. But then again, like, it's like New Year's, and then everyone makes their New Year's resolutions. So everyone goes to the gym in January, and then that's like the first month of the year, and then by February, everyone just kind of quits for the most part, and then for the rest of the year, you're no better off in terms of your health. So although a lot of people, you know, they walked more, if you stop doing it, your health just declines and goes back to the way it was before, right? So I don't friggin' know.
On account of this one game. Considering it takes about 500 million steps to walk to the moon, that's enough to walk to the moon and back 144 times. In the most extreme cases, players were walking 4,000 more steps every single day while they played. On average, though, the increase was a much more modest 1,473 extra steps. So, that begs the question, how do we turn extra steps into human lives saved? Let me explain. What we know as a calorie is simply a measurement of energy. When calories aren't used, they're stored in our body as glycogen, or fat to use later. If you don't burn off the excess, your body hangs on to it. Consuming more food leads to more calories that don't get burned, and that's basically how fat is gained. The more you have, the higher your chances for health problems and increased odds of death. On average, 20 steps equals 1 calorie, meaning that if you walk 10,000 steps in a day, you're gonna be burning about 500 calories. Now, according to a study conducted by Dwyer, Pezic, Son and Company, a person who walks 10,000 steps every single day can increase their average lifespan by about 41 days.
41 days? So if you walk 10,000 steps a day, at the end of your life, you only get 41 extra days? Like, that's just a little bit over a month. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I'm sorry to be morbid, but like, what? So you're gonna walk 10,000 steps every day for 80 years and you're only gonna get freaking 40 days longer? Like, that's not much. I would have at least expected another year. Like, even just another year or two. That would be nice. But 40 days? The amount of time it takes to walk 10,000 steps is a lot. So, like, what could you be doing with that time instead, right? I mean, like, what could I be doing with that extra time? So, instead of taking a couple hours to walk 10,000 steps a day, I could be, you know, building a business or doing something else with my time to better the world or better myself. I could be learning how to play the guitar.
Considering that the average lifespan is 79 years, that's just a lot of walking for an extra month of life. But
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna live to 79 years and walk hours a day to get 10,000 steps and only get 1 month extra. It doesn't seem worth it. It just doesn't seem worth it. Let's be real here.
whatever, it gives us the conversion of steps to human life that we need. All we need to do is calculate the total number of steps walked by Pokemon Go players for the past year and a half, which in turn will enable us to calculate the number of years that it's added to players' lives, and thus the overall total number of lives saved. That first month had about 144 billion steps, right? But as I stated earlier, Pokemon Go lost about 80% of its daily active users since then, dropping from 28 million to 5 million, meaning that the number of steps has decreased drastically as well. So based on this graph, we can estimate that there were about 10 million active daily users in August and September of 2016, and ever since the number has hovered around 5 million users, give or take. Knowing that on average a daily user of Pokemon Go walks an additional 1,473 steps per day, we can calculate that in August and September, 61 days, the 10 million users walked 898,530,000,000 extra steps. And in the 15 months after that, with only 5 million daily active users, that's 457 days times 5 million users times 1,473 steps, or 3,365,805,000,000 steps.
That's a lot of steps, let's be
In
honest.
total, we're talking about 4,408,335,000,000 additional
Wow.
steps taken since the launch of the game. And yes, that number is admittedly high, but we're trying to give both sides the benefit of the doubt here. And as you're about to see, it doesn't really matter. We've almost reached our final answer. 79 years of 10,000 steps a day gets you 41 extra days of life, right? Well, that would mean that 79 years times 365 days times 10,000 steps, 288,350,000 steps equals 41 days of life, or about 7 million steps for 1 extra day spent on this planet. Now, we just found
7 million steps for 1 extra day of life? That does not seem worth it.
that Pokemon Go players walked 4 trillion extra steps. So dividing by that 7 million steps it takes to earn ourselves an extra day of existence, we get 629,762 extra days of human life just from playing Pokemon Go. But that leads us to the question that we've been asking since the beginning. How many actual human lives does that translate to? Ladies and gentlemen, here's our grand total. 629,762 days divided by 365 gives us 1,725 years of life. Divide that number by the 79-year average lifespan that a human gets, and we derive, drumroll please, drumroll I said please, please give me something to build up the hype. Okay, 22.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be more, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. So, long story short, exercise doesn't make you live longer. Well, I mean, obviously exercise does make you live longer, but not walking. Like weightlifting, yes, it will make you live longer. Weightlifting and like running. But walking, no.
22 human lives saved. It's actually 160 lives short of that 100 that we calculated that the game had killed. So yeah, like those Purdue researchers concluded, the peril of Pokemon Go is definitely real.
Anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. Yeah, I think Pat is correct with this one. Pokemon Go, like, sure, it gets people out, the people who play it. I mean, it gets them outside, and, you know, it gets them active, kind of. But as the math shows, you can walk 7 million steps, and at the end of the day, you're only gonna gain 1 extra day of life. I guess it really doesn't matter in the end. But anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, possibly share with a friend. This is a morbid episode, wasn't it? Make sure you go subscribe to The Game Theorist, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Boop.